So when looking at severe threat, we're going to start with day one today with this marginal threat here. And this is like a three pane view of the different parameters. On the left, we got composite radar, middle, relative vorticity, and the right, middle, millicape, which is mixed layer cape between all layers of the atmosphere, where you have the oranges, higher levels of cape, which is fuel, okay? All right, so now we know where the marginal risk is today for hail. So we're going to take this off. You see at the beginning of this, there's not a lot going on, right? This is Saturday morning to this morning, right? The cape values are building here, 700, 800 joules per kilogram mixed layer cape. You could see looks like a short wave moving through the flow here. You see the kinks and the height lines here at 500 millibars, all right? Move that to 700 millibars. Not quite as apparent, but at 500 is definitely there. So this dip in the atmosphere will create lift by lowering the heights aloft, right? So cooler heights aloft is mostly, in this case, going to drive a hail threat today in this area, right? So as that shortwave moves through, you see what looks like a supercellular type structure here in the Columbia area. Might be very photogenic if it does form. Let's see what time this is, 7 p.m. The sun might be setting, unfortunately, here. But if we do have these cells do end up popping up, they you want to go inside if it starts hailing, because 1 inch hail is not huge, but it could still hurt, right? So definitely that's the reason why the short wave going through here is gonna give a little oomph to the atmosphere, and otherwise somewhat marginal conditions otherwise for a hail threat today. As we go Saturday afternoon into Sunday, right, we have the severe threat into Sunday as well, with the slight risk that I talked about in my previous video, right? Marginal risk here. And this is a three-pane view again, showing the radar on the left, 500 millibars in the middle, and mixed layer cape on the right. So let's take this off of here. All right, so we got our showers and storms down here. And this is the NAM 3 kilometer. It goes out further than the HRRR. I want to tell you all that as well. It depicts the same kind of scenario down here in the southeast. And we get into Sunday, 9 a.m., 10 a.m. You see once it depicts some rotating updrafts in this area here. If we put this overlay back on, all right, you see where the severe threat is. And the highest cape values are here. The mixed layer cape approaching 2,500 joules per kilogram, which is pretty high values here. Let's take this back off. All right, and let's zoom out a little bit here and take this off so we get a better view of the 500 millibars here. So we can analyze this a little better. It's really hard to get a good feel for this here. Let's go back. So as we move into Sunday, right, we got our short wave moving through the flow here. Very subtle short wave, right, which is going to drive these storms in the forecast area, starting from roughly, about 5 p.m. or so. We'll start moving through with maybe a strong line of storms moving through southern PA and western Pennsylvania and points to the south and west here. And that moves to the south and offshore here eventually as we get into Monday morning. And you see it lays over a broad trough down in the south, which will be impetus for another short wave moving through on Monday for our severe threat for day 3. So as we go into Monday, we see where our general marginal risk is here that we talked about in my previous video, going into central Georgia, parts of a lot of South Carolina, and parts of North Carolina as well. Showers and storms, and maybe some frozen precip up here right on the northeast coast in the Boston and Quebec area. right? But we're focused on severe weather right now, so that's what we're going to talk about. 8 a.m. on Monday. What we got going on here? Well, storms may develop right along the coast here and inland as a short wave moves through the flow up here. Okay, and you see Cape values. Mixed layer Cape values are somewhat marginal, right? But let's go see if we can look at the severe parameter here. Let's go back to simulated radar. All right, so anyway, this is the, let's take this off. Either way, on Monday, we got these storms dropping to the south, okay? This energy diving right offshore here. Showers and storms building back to the south and west here, okay, with the highest Cape values in Georgia here as well. So very subtle short wave move through the flow could lead to some marginal hail in these areas, right? So we got some time to watch this and see how this evolves, whether it uptrends or not. But I really doubt that more than just a hail threat for this type of event here. And if you want to know more about the forecast for the rest of the continental U.S., I'll be putting together another video for that. And there'll be a link at the end of this video for that as well. Hope you all have a great day.